जय श्री माता जी. Srimad Devi Bhagavat. If you want to know who Adi Shakti is, read Devi Bhagavat, said by Her Holiness Srimataji Nirmala Devi. Sankalpam. Mama Atmanaha Sahajayogi Kutumbanam Atmonnati Prityartham Moksha Prapti Prityartham Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Pujanam Karishe. The Holy Recital of Srimad Devi Bhagavat. Chapter 12, Episodes 7 to 12. Manidweep, Abode of the Devi. On the request of Raja Janmejay, Vyasji describes the grandeur of Manidweep. Vyasji says, Rajan, now I will give you the precious description of Manidweep. This is the sacred and most divine abode of the creatrix of the universe, Adi Shakti Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari. Vyasji says, Rajan, we have heard of Sarvalok, which exists beyond Brahmalok. That is verily Manidweep, the sacred abode of Bhagavati Jagadamba. Of all the lokas, it is the most supreme and is therefore known as Sarvalok, that is all-pervading. Nowhere in the creation or beyond does there exist a better place. For the whole creation, this is the sole, protective umbrella, Chhatra Swarup. No worldly activities or entrapments can affect or influence it. Rajan, the whole Brahmand, that is created universe, exists within its shade. Rajan, this Manidweep is surrounded on all sides by a vast and bottomless ocean of nectar. Gentle breezes from Pavan, that is wind god, ripple the ocean, and gem-like gleaming fish and shells of all shapes and sizes live in this ocean. Big waves break on the shores in colorful sprays. Graceful boats, flying colorful flags, glide over this Sudhasagar, that is ambrosial water. The ocean is bordered with ornamental trees bearing precious gems. Rising to the skies are lofty walls made of gleaming metal. They are 7 yojans long. Here reside the guardians, bearing all variety of weapons, accomplished in the art of defense and war, and learned in all the forms of knowledge and spirituality. Here the atmosphere of peace and joy prevails. This Parkota, that is quadrangle, has 4 doors. Inside this fort reside the Ganas who have unbounded loyalty and reverence for the Devi. When the gods come for darshan of Bhagavati Jagadamba, their Ganas are housed in this place. Their Vahanas and vehicles are kept there, and there is an air of movement and sound always in this place. It is dotted with lakes and streams of sweet, clear water and surrounded by beautiful gardens of jewel-laden trees. Beyond this is a bronze Parkota, that is rampart, which is huge. Its shikhar, that is peak, touches the sky. It is 100 times more brilliant than the glow of the previous tower. There is no tree or plant in existence that does not grow in this garden. Every tree is laden with fragrant flowers and delicious fruits. Not a single tree is bare. The trees drip nectar in the salubrious surroundings of cuckoo songs and the droning of bumblebees. Birds of all seasons nest in these trees. The trees are nourished by life-giving rivers and are always swaying under the weight of twittering birds like doves, parakeets, and swans. After this bronze quadrangle is the quadrangle with walls made of copper. They are 100 yojans high. In the center of this quadrangle stands the beautiful Vatika, that is tree Kalpavriksha. Rajan, the flowers of this tree shine like gold, and so also the leaves. The fruits and seeds are like gemstones. The fragrance is wafted on the breeze for a distance of 10 yojans in all directions. It is always spring in these gardens. Under a canopy of flowers sits Vasantaritu, that is god of spring, and his two consorts Madhushri and Madhavshri. Their faces are as beautiful as Kamadev's, and they play with a ball made of flowers. Streams of honey pour out of the tree. The perfume-laden breeze spreads for 10 yojans, and the Cupid-like Gandharvas, accompanied by their wives, also enjoy the garden. After this is the glass percotta, that is rampart. It is 7 yojans tall. In the center of this percotta is a tree called Santan. The fragrance of its flowers spread for 10 yojans. It is always in full bloom with golden flowers, and its fruits are as sweet as honey. Rajan, the ruler of this tree is Grishma Ritu, that is god of summer, and his two consorts Shukrashri and Shuchishri. All the Siddhas and Devatas rest under the shade of this tree. Rajan, beyond this is the quadrangle made of shining brass. In the middle is the tree called Malaigiri Vrikshvatika. Varsharitu, that is rain god, who reigns over the clouds, presides over this garden. The color of his eyes is Pingal Varan, that is tawny, and he is covered with a garment of clouds. Lightning and thunder are his voice, and the rainbow is his weapon. It is his nature to rain thousands of droplets of life-giving water. Varsharitu has 12 Shaktis called Nabhashri, Nabhasyashri, Swarasya, Rasyamalini, Ambadula, Niratni, Abhramanti, Meghayantika, Varshayanti, Chibunika, Varidhara, and Sammata. This place is always full of new leaves and delicate creepers and fast-flowing rivers and streams. This place is occupied by Punyatmas who are constantly engaged in making Vapi, Koop and Tadag, that is water pots and wells, as offerings to the Devi. The next Percotta is made of Panchaloha, that is 5 metals. It is 7 yojans long. In the middle of this stands the sacred Mandar tree. The holy Sharad Ritu, that is god of autumn, presides over this forest with his 2 deers, Ishulakshmi and Urja Lakshmi. This is the abode of many Siddha Purush with their wives. The 7th Percotta is made of silver and is 7 yojans long. This huge turret adds to the beauty of the place. In the middle is a garden of the most divine and fragrant Parijat. These flowers that are used for Devi Yagya spread their perfume for a distance of 10 yojans. Hemant Ritu, that is god of winter, is the presiding deity. It is his nature to give happiness and love. His 2 Shaktis are Sahashri and Sahasyashri. After the silver comes the 8th Percotta made of shimmering gold. It is called Suvarnashal. It is 7 yojans long. In the center is a beautiful Vatika called Kadamb. It is covered with fragrant flowers and tender new leaves. The presiding devata is Shishir Ritu, that is cold season, and his consorts are Tapashri and Tapasyashri. This abode is granted to those Siddha Purushas who have pleased the Devi with their generosity and virtuous acts. Beyond this Hiranyamay Prakar, that is golden quadrangle, there is the 7 yojan long Prakar which has the kumkum color of the morning sun because it is made of Pushparaj mani, that is topaz. Everything from earth to garden to forest appears like Pushparaj, that is topaz. The gemstone of which the prakar is made has also been used to form the trees, earth, water, canopy, pillars, lakes and lotuses. Not only that, but even inside everything is made of Pushparaj mani, that is topaz. Rajan, this is the most inadequate description. Each one is better in excellence and beauty than the one before. Indra and all the Dikpals, that is, guardian deities of the different quarters, stand in attention holding their weapons in their hands. On the eastern side of this Manidweep, that is, island of emeralds and rubies, lies Amaravati Puri. It is the residence of Lord Indra and 100 times more beautiful. Here presides Indra, mounted on Airavat, that is Indra's chief elephant which came out of the churning of the ocean, holding the thunderbolt in his hand and surrounded by the gods. Beside him is his consort Devi Shachi, decked with ornaments and surrounded by her attendants. Rajan, in the Agni Kon, that is southeastern quarter of Manidweep, like the glowing Agni is Vahnipuri. Agni Dev, that is god of fire, presides here with his Shaktis Swaha and Swada. On the south side of Manidweep lies Yamraj Puri. Together with Chitragupt and other ministers, and surrounded by his attendants, is seated Yamraj, god of death, holding a rod in his hand. This is the residence of Suryanandan, that is, son of the sun god Yamraj. Nairitya Kon, southwestern quarter, is known as Rakshaspuri, that is, abode of the demons. Holding the Khadga in his hand, Nirtriti resides here with his Shaktis and his demons. On the west side is the residence of Varuna, that is god of the waters, who holds a pash, that is noose. Mahan Matsya, that is, the great fish, is his vehicle. He presides with his Shakti, Varunani and his Ganas. In the northwest side of Manidweep is Vayulok, residence of Vayu, wind god. Excelling in pranayam and surrounded by Siddhi yogis, Vayu is sitting on a deer and holds a pendant in his hand and is always surrounded by Marudgans. Rajan, in the north of Manidweep is the Loka of Yakshas, that is, abode of demigods in attendance on Kuber. Their master, Kuber, that is, treasurer of the gods, presides with Riddhi and Vriddhi. He is surrounded by an army of Yakshas, including Manibhadra, Purnabhadra, Maniman, Manikandan, Manibhushan, Manimali, and Manidhanurdhan. In the Ishan Kon, that is northeast quarter of Manidweep, stands Rudralok, where the bejeweled Rudra, that is 11 inferior manifestations of Shiva, presides. His face expresses anger and his glittering eyes are red. He has a tarkas, that is quiver, tied to his back and a tightly strung bow in his hand. In his other hand, he holds the trident. Surrounding him are countless, identical Rudras, some with 10 hands, some with 100 hands, and others with 1,000 hands. Some Rudras have 10 legs, 10 necks, and some have 3 eyes. Surrounded by all these Rudras stands the majestic Bhagwan Shankar. Also residing here are crores of Rudranis, Bhadrakali, and other Matrika Gans. Also in attendance are Damri, Veerabhadra, and other Ganas. He wears a garland of skulls and on his hand a snake bracelet, on his shoulder a snake as a sacred thread, that is Sarpamai Yagyopavit. On his upper body tiger skin and his lower body draped in elephant hide. His entire body is smeared with ash from the pyres. Pramat and other Ganas are never far from him. The deafening sound of his damru radiates in all directions. He is always surrounded. Being the ruler of the Ishan direction, he is also known as Ishan. Vyasji says, Rajan, beyond this is the Parkota, red like kumkum, made of Padmaragmani, that is ruby. In the middle is a structure made of the same gem, which is 10 yojans long and is surmounted by a beautiful dome. Hundreds of canopies are supported by columns made of Padmaragmani gems. Under these canopies stand 64 kalas, that is, divisions presided over by minor deities, richly jewelled and ornamented and bearing all kinds of weapons. Each kala is the ruler of her own domain. These kalas preside there, complete with their attendants and vahanas, that is, conveyance. Janmejay, I will tell you the names of these kalas. Pingalakshi, Vishalakshi, Samriddhi, Vriddhi, Shraddha, Swaha, Swadha, Abhikya, Maya, Sanghya, Vasundhara, Trilokadhari, Savitri, Gayatri, Trideshwari, Surupa, Bahurupa, Skandamata, Achyutapriya, Vimala, Amala, Aruni, Aroni, Prakriti, Vikriti, Shrishti, Stithi, Sanhriti, Mata, Sandhya, Param Sadvihansi, Mandika, Vajrika, Devamata, Bhagavati, Devaki, Kamalasana, Trimukhi, Saptamukhi, Surasur Vimardini, Lamposhti, Urdhvakeshi, Bahushirsha, Vrikodari, Ratreka, Seshireka, Gaganvega, Pavanvega, Madanatura, Ananga, Anangamathana, Snangamekhala, Anangakusuma, Vishwarupa, Suratika, Shayankari, Shakti, Akshobhya, Satyavadini, Bahurupa, Shrichivrata, Udara, and Vageshi. These are known as the 64 Kalas. They all have darting tongues, that is, Prajwalit Jivha, and fire flares from their mouths. When they gnash their teeth in anger, the sound is deafening. Each kala possesses 100 Akshovini Sena who can devour thousands of Brahmans. I cannot fully describe their valor and prowess. This Parkota is full of their weapons and countless chariots, horses, elephants, and infantry. Rajan, further away is a majestic prahar made entirely of Gomed Ratna, that is red onyx. The rear portion is of the same Gomed gemstone as also the birds, trees, columns, wells and lakes. Everything is red like the color of kumkum. 32 great Shaktis reside here. They are decked with jewels made of the same gems and hold weapons in their hands. Their faces are frightening like those of female demons. Their slogan is, cut them, crush them, riddle them with holes and burn them to ashes. Every one of them is sufficient to destroy 1 lakh Brahmans, universes. All the weapons and equipment of war of Bhagavati Jagadamba are kept in this prahar. This is the Antarang Sena, that is personal army of Bhagavati. Now I will enumerate the negativity destroying names. Vidya, Hreem, Pushti, Pragya, Sinivali, Kuhu, Rudra, Virya, Prabha, Ananda, Pashini, Riddhida, Kalaratri, Maharatri, Bhadrakali, Kapardini, Vikriti, Dandini, Mundani, Sendukhand, Shikhandini, Nishumbha Mathini, Mahishasuramardini, Indrani, Rudrani, Shankarardha Sharirini, Nari, Narayani, Trishulini, Palini, Ambika, and Hladini. These are 32 important names of the Shakti. If these Devis get angry, there will be instantaneous destruction of the creation. They can never ever be defeated. The next prakar is made of diamond. The dome and doors are made of diamond and fastened with bolt and chains. All the structures, the roads, crossroads, gardens, trees, birds are made of dazzling, brilliant diamonds. Sri Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari's maids reside here together with thousands of attendants. The maids are always engaged in works of art, decorating the lotus feet and adorning the Devi with ornaments. Others are experts in flower decoration or entertainments. The Shaktis are known as the Dutis of the Devi. These are their names: Anangarupa, Anangamadana, Sundari, Madanatura, Bhuvanavega, Bhuvanpalika, Sarvashishira, Anangavedana, and Anangamekhala. Their persons shine with the brilliance of lightning. They wear waist ornaments made of many chains and anklets with tingling bells. All their vahanas are also housed in this prakar. After this is the prakar made of Vaidurya Mani, that is lapis lazuli. It is 10 yojans long and has domes and many doors. Here also every building, street, crossroad, rajmarg, tank, well, and banks of the rivers are all made of Vaidurya Mani gemstones. In various places, groups of Brahmi and other Devis can be seen surrounded by their ganas. Brahmi, Maheshwari, Kaumari, Vaishnavi, Varahi, Indrani, and Chamunda are known as Sapta Matrika, that is, seven goddesses. The eighth Matrika's name is Mahalakshmi. They are the cause of benevolence and auspiciousness in the world and are in the same form as Brahma, Rudra, and other gods. Rajan, at all four Mahadwars, that is, main entrances, are standing in readiness, decorated, and caparisoned Vahanas and chariots flying colorful pennants and flags. Crores of vehicles bearing different crests and colors also stand in readiness. The array is beautiful and awesome. Beyond the Vaiduryamani Prakar is the Prakar made of Indraneelamani gemstone, that is sapphire. It is 10 yojans tall and is exquisite. Everything is made of Indraneelamani, that is sapphire gemstone. It is said that in the middle is a lotus which has a diameter of many yojans. It is made of Indraneelamani and the dazzling lotus looks like a 16-pointed Sudarshan chakra. It bears the thrones of the 16 Shaktis. I will tell you their names. Karali, Vikarali, Uma, Saraswati, Shri, Durga, Usha, Lakshmi, Shruti, Smriti, Dhriti, Shraddha, Medha, Mati, Kanti, and Arya. They are blue in color like rain-filled clouds. They bear sword and shield in their hands. They are the warriors of the goddess Shri Devi. Drawing their energy from Bhagavati Jagadamba, they complete their work of getting rid of Brahman with negative forces, and even the thousand-headed Sheshnag finds himself inadequate to praise their strength and valor. Rajan, after this is a vast mukta, that is pearl prakar, which is 10 yojans tall. In the middle is an 8-petal lotus. Studded with pearls and other precious stones, this lotus is full of kesar, that is, stamens of the saffron flower. On the 8 petals are seated goddesses resembling Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari holding weapons in their hands. They are constantly engaged in conveying news of the world, and these 8 Devis are called informers of the Bhagavati. They are conscious of every requirement of Bhagavati Jagadamba and they are aware of all the happenings in the cosmos. Their main function is to gather intelligence of all actions of all living beings in the created universe. Rajendra, their names are like this: Ananga Kusuma, Ananga Kusumatura, Ananga Madana, Ananga Madanatura, Bhuvanpala, Gaganavega, Shashirekha, and Gaganrekha. They are of red color and bear in their hands noose, ankush, that is prod with hook, and varad and abhay mudras, which are postures of granting boons and protection. Next to this is a prakar made of the Mahamarkat money, that is emerald. It is 10 yojans wide and is the most important and impressive of all. It contains auspicious items and delicious eatables. Inside this lies the immense Sri Chakra, that is 6-cornered mystical diagram of Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari. I will tell you the names of the deities seated in the 6 corners of this star. In Purvakon, that is eastern corner, is seated Chaturmukh, that is 4-faced Brahma, and his Shakti Bhagavati Gayatri. He is holding Kamandal, that is pot, Akshay Sutra, that is rosary, Abhay Mudra Dand, that is staff of protection and a royal weapon. The Vedas and Shastras are present in divine forms. The Smritis and Puran have also assumed divine forms and are present. In Nairitya Kon, that is southwestern corner, is situated Bhagavati Savitri holding conch, chakra, mace and lotus. Bhagwan Vishnu is also in similar form. Matsya, that is fish, Kurma, that is tortoise, and other incarnations of Lord Vishnu have also been provided seeds. In Vayavya Kon, that is northwestern corner, presides the great Rudra bearing in his hand axe, rosary, and postures of granting protection and boons. In this area is also seated Bhagavati Saraswati in the same form. Rajan, Dakshinamurti, and all other Rudras, which are his forms, are present, and Gauri and all other forms of Parvati are also present here. 64 kinds of prophets and prophecies, that is, Agam and Agam Shastras, have assumed form and are there present. In Agnikon, that is southeastern quarter, is seated Kuber, god of wealth, holding in his hands the jeweled kalash and ornaments. He is accompanied by many kinds of riches and wealth and Mahalakshmis. Full of virtues and grace, Kuber is the keeper of the wealth and possessions of Bhagavati Jagadamba. In the Mahankon, which belongs to Varun, god of oceans, sits Kamadev with his Shakti Rati. He holds in his hands noose, gourd, bow and arrows. All the adornments and ornaments have taken form and are present. In Ishan Kon, that is northeastern corner, sits Vignanasha, remover of obstacles, Sri Ganesha, with Devi Pushtihi. He is holding noose and gourd. All the dignified qualities of Ganesha have assumed majestic and glorious forms and are present. Rajan, the aggregate of all forms of Brahma, etc., from all the created Brahmans, manifest as Brahma and are always in attendance on Bhagavati Jagadishwari. Further on is a 100 yojan wide Pravalka, that is rampart, which is as red as kumkum. Within this prakar reside the Panchabhutas, that is 5 elements with their Shaktis, Hridleka, Gagana, Rakta, Karalika and Mahochushma. They bear the Pash, Ankush and Abhay Mudras. Rajan, beyond this is a vast prakar made of Navaratna, that is 9 gems. Skilled in the science of the future and having the name Amraya, gods and bhavans exist there. Rajan, all the forms of Sri Devi exist here. All the forms of Mahavidya also reside here. The governing deities of the 7 crore Mahamantras also have a place here. After this is a vast temple formed of Chintamani, which is a fabulous gem supposed to yield anything desired. It has thousands of pillars covered with brilliant gemstones which dazzle the eyes. Chapter 12 Description of Manidweep continues. Vyasji says, Rajan, right in the center of all this stands the Bhavan of Bhagavati Jagadamba. It has 4 mandaps, that is, domes and pavilions. Every mandap is supported by 1,000 pillars. The first is the Shringar Mandap, the second Mukti Mandap, the third Jnana Mandap, and the fourth Ekant Mandap. These mandaps shine with the brilliance of crores of suns. They are surrounded by gardens of kesar, mallika, and kund flower bearing plants. These groves are filled with celestial bumblebees intoxicated with the overpowering fragrance of the flowers. On all sides of the four mandaps are Mahapadmavatis, that is, marigolds. They are filled with the nectar and the bumblebees are hovering over them. Graceful swans fill the lakes. The whole atmosphere is laden with fragrance. Within the first Shringar Mandap is a Singhasan and seated on it is the Devi. The gods of entertainment and the Apsaras sing and dance for Bhagavati Jagadamba. In Mukti Mandap is seated the auspicious Bhagavati Shiva who grants mukti to all her bhaktas. Rajan, the third mandap is called Jnana Mandap and the Devi seated on this Singhasan gives Nirmal Vidya. In the fourth mandap, called Ekant Mandap, Bhagavati Jagadamba sits with Anankusuma and other Shaktis and works out the preservation of the universe. Rajan, Chintamani Griha is the prime place of the Devi. Here presides Moola Prakriti Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari with her 10 Shaktis. This is the most majestic throne. Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra and Ishwar form the four legs of this seat. Sadashiva is the Patash, that is canopy, and right on top is stationed Bhuvaneshwar. Before the creation, Bhuvaneshwar divided into two. The right part became Bhagwan Bhuvaneshwar and the left part became Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari. He is also called Sadashiva. This Maheshwar has the beauty of 1 crore Kamadevs. He has 5 faces and 3 eyes. He is decorated with Chintamani and in his hands he holds the sun, Abhay and Varamudras and axe. This Mahadeveshwar, who rules over all, is ever youthful and looks 16 years old. He shines like a crore of suns and is Sheetal, that is cool, as a crore of moons. On his left side resides Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari. She is wearing a waist ornament made of Navaratna, that is 9 gems. On her arms are bands made of beaten gold and Vaidurya money, that is lapis lazuli. Her earrings are in the form of Sri Chakra. On her forehead is set the 4-day-old moon. Her lips are redder than the bimba fruit and her teeth are like precious pearls. On her shining forehead sits a tilak of kumkum and kasturi, that is musk. On her head is a jewel-studded crown outshining the sun and the moon. Her nose ornament is the resplendent evening star, that is Shukratara. Strings of iridescent pearls form her necklaces. Fragrant paste of sandal, kapoor, that is camphor, and kumkum has been applied to her divine body. A row of curls surrounds her lotus-like face and the bumblebees are droning around her. The ripples of the Ganga get their beauty from her belly. Her fingers are bejeweled with rings. On her lotus face she bears 3 eyes which shine with the luster of diamonds and rubies. She also wears gem-studded kangans, that is bracelets, and a waistband with tiny bells. A gleam of pearls and the dazzling brilliance of gems comes from her lotus feet. Her lotus feet are beautiful with toe rings. From her gem-encrusted bodice radiates light in all directions. The sweet perfume of mallika, that is jasmine, and the tingling of tiny bells from her decorated hair has attracted the bumblebees. She appears to be weighted down by her ornaments and her heavy breasts, and Bhagavati Shiva looks tired. In her four hands, she is holding Pash, Ankush, Abhay, and Varmudras. She is the embodiment of youth and beauty beyond description and unbounded compassion. Her own sweet voice has rendered the notes of the veena ineffective. She is constantly surrounded by attendants, handmaidens, wives of gods, and assemblies of gods. She is the one with Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Lajja, Tushti, Pushti, Kirti, Kanti, Kshama, Daya, Buddhi, Medha have all assumed forms and are seated in her presence. Also in attendance are the 9 Peeth Shaktis, Jaya, Vijaya, Ajita, Aparajita, Nitya, Vilasini, Dogdhi, Aghora, and Amangala. Also present are Shankanidhi and Padmanidhi. The rivers Navratnavaha, Kanchansrava, and Saptadhatuva owe their source to these nidhis. All these rivers are flowing into Sudha Sindhu. This most powerful Bhagavati Bhuvaneshwari presides in the left side of Mahabhag Bhuvaneshwar. It is by this presence of hers that Bhuvaneshwar can manifest as Almighty. This is the absolute truth. Rajan, now hear about this Chintamani Griha. This vast bhavan is 1,000 yojans wide and 1,000 yojans long. On its northern side there are many lofty prakars. This north prakar is double the size of the eastern prakar. This Manidweep of the Devi is not on the earth but in Antariksh Lok, that is, celestial region beyond atmosphere. It cannot be dissolved during Pralay Kal, that is dissolution of the universe, nor does it come into existence during the creation. But here also there is constant contraction and expansion as in the evolutionary process. All the paralokas that are in existence get their stimulus from Chintamani Griha. It is this grand and auspicious Bhavya Bhavan that is the residence of Bhagavati Mahamaya. Rajan, all the bhaktas of Sri Devi from all the Brahmans, that is universes and galaxies, Devalok, Nagalok, and Manushyalok come to this place to worship her. Those who renounce even their lives in the worship of the Devi go to a place where Devi Mahotsava resides. There flow thousands of rivers of ghee, milk, curd, honey, nectar, grape juice, rose apple juice, and mango juice. All varieties of fruit-bearing trees provide nectar-like fruits. In Manidweep, no one gets sick nor does old age touch them. That sacred place is devoid of worry, stress, anger, lust, and greed. Everyone is youthful in the sacred state of marriage and glowing like 1,000 suns. Bhagavati Sri Bhuvaneshwari presides here and grants Samipya and Salokya, that is, proximity and salvation. Many get Sarupya, that is, likeness, and the chosen few get dissolved into divinity, that is, Sashtata. Devatas from all Brahmans reside there and worship of the Devi Jagadishwari. 7 crores of Mahamantras take form and perform aradhanas to the Devi. In Samyavastha, that is appearance, Devi Shiva is caused to manifest as Brahmaswarupa. All the Mahavidyas are present in her service. Rajan, I have given you the complete description of the resplendent Manidweep. Even a crore of suns and moons pales before the dazzling glory of Manidweep. Some parts are made of Markat Mani, gem, which is emerald. Some glitter like lightning, others are made of Indraneel Mani, one of the 9 celestial gems, which is sapphire, and some glow like molten gold. Other parts are studded with Chandrakanta Mani, that is moonstone, and Suryakanta Mani, which is jasper. The gardens are filled with trees bearing beautiful fragrant flowers. Peacocks dance and pigeons coo. The sweet notes of the cuckoo and the songs of the parrot are the sounds pervading the gardens. This place has countless lakes filled with gem-like lotuses which make the air sweetly fragrant. The entire sky is alight with the radiance of Manidweep, and sparks from myriad gems twinkle all over. Rajan, this is the destination of all beauty, ornamentation, decoration, knowledge, brilliance, good qualities, valor, bravery, and compassion. All the joys from kingship to Brahmalok exist here. Just by putting attention on Manidweep, all sins get neutralized. At the time of death, if one remembers Manidweep, his soul reaches Manidweep. One who faithfully reads this description is protected from bhoots, prets, and pishachas. For auspiciousness, when building a new house and during performance of puja of Vastudeva, this should be read. Chapter 12 Praise and Description of Manidweep continues. Vyasji says, O sinless one, whatever you wanted to hear, I have told you. The 8th chapter till the end contains what Bhagwan Narayan narrated to Mahatma Narada. This Puran of Bhagavati Mahadevi is without parallel. Anyone who hears this becomes complete. Rajendra, for the benevolence of yourself and your father, you must perform Devi Yagya. First of all, it is imperative for you to take Diksha of the most superior and paramount mantra. The receiving of this mantra with proper protocol fulfills the purpose and meaning of life. Suji says, O Shaunak and other rishis, after hearing the words of Vedavyas, Raja Janmejaya prepared himself and received with proper protocol the Pranav mantra of the Devi. Then on the occasion of Navratri, he invited Dhaumya and other munis and hosted the Amba Yagya of the Devi. He lavished gifts on all the Brahmins who came to participate in the Yagya and to those who read the Mahapuran Srimad Devi Bhagavat. Food was served to Brahmins, Suhagan ladies, that is, ladies whose husband is alive, unmarried girls, and Brahmacharis. Orphans and poor were also fed. Everyone was overwhelmed with gifts from the king. After completing the yagya, when Raja Janmejaya ascended the throne, Muni Narad arrived from heaven. Raja Janmejay was surprised to see him. He rose from his throne and offered the Muni the proper welcome with full protocol. Then he inquired after his well-being and asked the reason for his visit. Raja asked, Bhagwan, from which place have you come? Please tell me what I can do for you. I am honored by your visit. Muni Narad replied, Rajendra, I have just seen a most amazing thing in Devalok. I came here as soon as I could to tell you about it. Rajan, your father has acquired a divine body. He has mounted a grand chariot and left for Manidweep. This is the fruit of the worship of the Devi Bhagavat that has just been performed. By performing the Devi Yagya, you not only got moksha for the soul of your father, but have fulfilled the purpose of your life. For this reason, your fame has spread all over Devlok. Sudji says, hearing these words of Naradji, the heart of Janmejay was filled with love. He prostrated at the feet of Vyasji and said, Bhagavan, it is by your grace that I was able to do this great work. Mahamuni, what can I give you except my most heartful thanks and humble namaskars? May you always be compassionate towards me. Vyasji blessed him and gave him this advice. Rajan, renounce everything and involve yourself completely in the worship of the lotus feet of Bhagavati Adishakti. With great care and devotion, it should become the only priority of your life to read and absorb Srimad Devi Bhagavat. Devote your life to the Amba Yagya. You should never ever become casual or lethargic in this most divine activity. As a fruit of this, you will get detachment from worldly involvements and attachments. This is the pure essence of all the Purans and Vedas. Janmejay, the blessings and benefits that you will get will be the same as from reading all the Vedas. After this, Vedavyas left. Only then did Muni Dhaumya and the other Munis leave. Long after, they continued to speak about the Srimad Devi Bhagavat that they had just completed. Raja Janmejay was very satisfied and started the process of renunciation. He spent all his time either reading or listening to the most divine Sri Devi Bhagavat. The Devi Bhagavat Puran Conclusion. Sudji says, O Rishis, the half shlok that emanated from the most divine, most beautiful lotus face of the Devi, Sarvam Kalvidamevaham Nanyadasti Sanatanam, has become Srimad Devi Bhagavat. This Puran is the actualization of the Vedas. This half shlok was uttered in the hearing of Vishnu, who in the form of a baby was floating on a banyan leaf in the ocean. Brahmaji was the very first to compose and explain 100 crores of shlokas on this half shloka. Later Vyasji, with the sole purpose of teaching it to Sukadevji, gathered the essence of it and arranged it in the form of 18,000 shlokas. He decorated them in 12 chapters and called this Puran Srimad Devi Bhagavat. It still exists in all its entirety in Devlok. There is no other Puran in existence which can equal this in purity and holiness and which grants punyas and deliverance from sins. One who reads each word with reverence and devotion gets the same fruits as performing an Ashwamedha Yagya. The person who accepts the position of reader of this most sacred Puran should be honored with new garments and gifts of wealth. He should be received, respected, and honored as if Vedavyas himself is reading the Puran to us. Mune, it is advised that one should either write this or engage someone to write it, and on the auspicious occasion of Bhadrapad Purnima, it should be placed on a golden singhasan and presented to the Purana Vetta, that is, reader. As dakshina or offering of thanksgiving, one should present the embodiment of Vedavyas, a milch cow which has been garlanded and decorated with gold. After the completion of the reading, Brahmins should be offered food. One should also invite Suvasinis, that is Suhagan married ladies, youths, that is boys, and unmarried girls. Giving them the respect due to a Devi, they should be offered new clothes and tasty food. They should be garlanded with sandal and flower malas. The fruit of these actions is the same as giving land in charity. It ensures passage of the soul to Devi Lok. For the person who continuously reads Devi Bhagavat, nothing is impossible. Even by listening to the reading of this Puran, the childless are blessed with children, the penniless get wealth, the students get enlightened, and so many other blessings are showered. Women who are infertile or have only one child are freed from the stigma of being barren. There is no doubt in this. The home in which this Puran is installed with great reverence, Lakshmi and Saraswati will always be in its vicinity and never leave. The house can never be affected by evil eye, that is drishti of Betal, Dakini or Rakshasas, that is goblins and demons. If there is contact with a person suffering from typhus, typhoid, yellow fever, or any other febrile fever, one should carefully read this Puran and the infection will leave his house. Chanting of Ashriti Path 100 times rescues one from tuberculosis. The one who regularly reads this Puran receives Nirmal Vidya. During the Navaratri of Sharad Ritu, one must invariably read this Puran. Bhagavati Jagadamba becomes most pleased with such a person and showers her blessings on him. Mune, in a year, during the months of Ashad, Ashwin, Magh, and Chaitra, at the time of Shukla Paksh, there are 4 Navratras. This is a most auspicious time to read the Devi Bhagavat. This Puran does not contain a single criticism or belittling of any living being. This is only about homage and worship because Bhagavati Jagadamba resides within all as Shakti Rupa. To please that Shakti, one should always read this holy Puran. It is a maryada for women and Shudras to listen to this reading from the mouth of a Brahmin, that is a realized soul. What I am telling you is the pure essence. O twice born ones, this most holy Mahapuran Devi Bhagavat is the essence of all the Vedas. Reading this is the same as having knowledge of all the Vedas. This is the absolute truth. I offer pranams to that Bhagavati Sachidananda Swarupini, who is also known as Bhagavati Gayatri, and who is verily Sri Bhagavati Jagadamba, Sri Adi Shakti. May she enlighten all the cells of our brain. The ascetic munis who spent all their days meditating in deep forests were so pleased with the narration of Sudji that they thanked him and blessed him with one voice. Everyone's heart was filled with joy. After drowning themselves in the ocean of pure knowledge, By listening to this vast Puran, all their mundane doubts were put to rest. They begged Surji to forgive them for putting him to so much exertion in narrating to them this magnificent story. O great instrument, you were verily the boatman who took us across this ocean of worldly illusion. This Srimad Devi Bhagavat is the embodiment of all the Vedas. Throughout the reading, the group of Munis sat with folded hands and rapt attention. Again and again, they blessed him and thanked him. After this, Surji, who constantly hovers in the vicinity of the lotus feet of Bhagavati Jagadamba, arose and left. Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha. The Devi Bhagavat Puran completed. The Holy Recital of Srimad Devi Bhagavat. Jai Shri Mataji.